This ZX10 Masters Cup action is proudly brought to you by Red Square for ultimate activation. Hello and welcome to a very windy Red Star Raceway out in Delmas for round number 6 action of the Red Square ZX10 Masters Cup. And as you can see, Johan Leroux just taking a little nap there in pits before he heads out on track. Gonna have to get a Red Square inside that body to get some energy there, but the crowds have come out to sample the bra master himself, Hannes de Vos. Some of that bra that he's made there for everyone. As you can see, the pits are packed as always, part of the Extreme Festival of Motorsport here at Red Star Raceway. Bikes are getting warmed up there by everyone possible down in pit lane. Great to see the family vibe as always. Qualifying is done. We're about to head on track now for racing action. As the riders head to the line then for race 1 action, the big question on the day is, can the man in third place on the grid, Graham from Idar, has been unbeaten so far this season, and with Gareth Bazanot on pole position and Jaco Koos in second, find out after the break if he can indeed be beaten. Welcome back to Red Star Raceway. We are on the start line for race number 1 of round 6. Red Square ZX10 Masters Cup action about to get underway. Dave Peterson joining me in the commentary booth. Let's see, can Graham from Idar be beaten?
Off they go, and we're on board with Kyle Robinson. He's improved so much over the last couple of races. He looks really race fit as well. Jonty Collard does ahead of him, as does Michael Smith. But out front, look at those red leathers. That is Gareth Bazanot. He started out on pole position, put together a wonderful lap during qualifying. Graham from Idar, oh, and look at JLR Johan Leroux going round the outside. But Graham from Idar has got his work cut out today. He's been unbeaten, Rob, as you said, so far this season. It'll be very interesting to see how it works out, especially with the wind that's howling across this track.
Yeah, he got a good launch off the line, but Jaco Koos just chopped his nose off going into turn 1, and so it is Gareth Bazanot out front, ahead of Koos, and they're already starting to pull a gap over Graham from Idar, your championship leader, Jonty Collard, Michael Schmidt, Teddy Brook, Kyle Robinson, they're all going with him, and then look at the racing action all the way through. Good start there from the Bridgestone man, Ian Harwood.
Ian Harwood has had good practice as well. He's looking really determined. He's putting a lot of laps around this track. It'll be good to see what he can do today. On board the brakes with Kyle Robinson. Oh, that is so late going into there. The headwind's actually coming from the right-hand side at the moment. So Kyle Robinson on the side of the tyre. Can't take too much throttle through there, Rob. The very tricky part of the track. Yeah, that's one of the toughest turns in motorsport, and it was actually designed by a ZX10 Masters rider in the form of Peter de Vos designing that turn. There's Johan Leroux now coming through the field. He knows he's got the pace to run and potentially stick with the top 6 riders. That's why he was putting those big moves on early on. You see already
bit of a stretch gap at the front in this field. This is what we expect from Red Star Raceway. Good little rides going on here between Aubrey Marais, Cole Robeck, Gareth Jackson and Clifford Ogle.
Right behind them, Mornay Potgieter and Ryan Oberholzer as well. Right, there is Jonty Collard, the blue and white crash helmet. He has got Michael Smith all over him like a rash as we skirted up the back straight right next to the freeway. This is the freeway straight. Look at the speed that they go up there with. Oh, and out front, Gareth Besaiden at 240. And on the brakes, Michael Smith. Has he got any brakes?
Sure, he came from Boksburg to make that move on the inside of Jonty Collard. Brilliant stuff. Gets himself up inside that top 4 at the moment. Going to try and hold off Jonty Collard, who comes into his own a little bit later in the race. But Gareth Besaiden, look at that lead that he's already got. And like you said, Dave, with this wind howling, look at these riders hold on to those bikes coming onto the front straight.
Well, we've got almost 200 horsepower coming through those machines. Ian Hardwood, he's taking the inside line like a bit of a dirt tracker. He's looking for the double jump. Action, ejection, we call him. Gareth Jackson in the mix there as well.
Gareth Besaiden is stamping down his authority on this race from pole position, holding off the challenge. Jaco Koos trying to hold off Graham from Idar, but from Idar, if he wants to hold on to that unbeaten run, he's going to have to pull finger here, but not one of his favorite tracks, and Graham will tell you that as Ian Hardwood on the inside of Action Jackson. Brilliant move there, and they've got Aubrey Marais, Stewie Christie, Cole Robeck right for company there. So it's a really good battle going for that top 15. Remember, final championship spot in that 15th spot.
Jaco Koos, bike number 43, is having a tremendous run. His Springs compatriot Graham from Idar right behind him. There is Ian Hardwood hard on the brakes through that right-hander. Gets the leg out. Oh, he's got some good company going on right there as well. Stewie Christie is also having a great ride. Our dog doctor from the East Rand.
Cole Robeck also right in the mix there. Jonty Collard now got himself back up into 4th place ahead of Michael Smith. So that's the battle for the top 5 at the moment. Collard fighting back there ahead of Smith. And then look at this battle. This is Teddy Brooke, Carl Robertson, Dale Nevenhuizen, Ian Harwood right in the mix there for his first top 10 of the year. That'll be a great ride from the Bridgestone man.
And chatting about the Papa's Pizza Ovens rider, Jonty Collard, his aim today, Rob, get under that 2-minute barrier. He's got to do under 2 minutes for 1 lap. That's what he's aiming for.
And a lot of the riders are getting their personal best lap times because the Bridgestone R11, the brand new tyre this year from Bridgestone, is working oh so well. As you can see from Gareth Besaiden out front, the Bridgestone tyre is the tyre to use here at Red Star Raceway. Carl Robinson, remember your former top 3 contender, still finding his feet back in the Red Square ZX10 Masters Cup, late on the brakes there into this very tricky last section. Second gear, flick it over onto the left side, short shift third and onto the front straight. Michael Schmidt, there he comes through that section onto the front straight now, trying to close down. He's ahead of Jonty Collard. So that battle, those two have changed positions with every passing lap.
And also, Jonty Collard has got Teddy Brooke all over him. So we've got these good dices going on for 4 and 5 and 6 and 7.
Yeah, and could you see these riders breaking into turn 1? That wind is taking the rear wheel, and they're almost supermoto style going into turn 1. So the wind is a huge factor here, and that's what's making the lap times that these guys are pushing out so much more impressive, is that they're able to dip under that 2-minute bracket. I mean, 157 lap times from Besaiden out front. Ian Hardwood's running in the 204 lap times. That is such impressive stuff, and he aims to get himself in that top 10. He's got Dale Nevenhuizen and Johan Leroux just ahead of him.
It's going to be a tough one. There's our leader. That is Gareth Besaiden out front. He loves this track. He's got his bike well set up. That is absolutely brilliant. Okay, so Carl Robinson and Teddy Brooke, those are the two we were chatting about. Looks like Teddy's just shadowing him, waiting to make a move maybe towards the end of the race.
Yeah, that's Aubrey Marais now. It's just ahead of Ian Harwood, but Hardwood is coming steaming through the field, putting in the fastest lap times. His lap time last lap around would have put him inside the top 7 position there. So watch out for Ian Hardwood, but Gareth Besaiden is looking faultless this weekend. Put it on pole position. He's out front at the moment where he wants to be, and the laps counting down. Graham from Idar, for the first time this season, could be beaten.
Down at the bottom end of the circuit, there's that dice going on just behind him. Carl Robinson holding off Teddy Brooke. Teddy Brooke looking for a way pass, and just behind them, JLR, Johan Leroux. Look at him coming to the picture as well. There is our leader, Gareth Besaiden. He's got that bike dialed in, Rob. That thing is turning so well today.
He really does have that set up, and remember, that's the 2014-2015 ZX10 model, so it's not the new spec bike. Just shows you that you can come into the Red Square ZX10 Masters Cup with any kind of Kawasaki R machine and be competitive. Johan Leroux, how the man does this, and he's recovering from a massive injury he had, and he's still right on the pace. Hats off to that man.
I think he's got a new crash helmet, because he might have dented that one at Swartkorps a little while ago as well. There's our top 3 riders at the end of the strap. They'll flick it right right, left and right down past the start-finish area for another lap completed in this race. There's no catching Gareth Besaiden at the moment. Jaco Goos is trying everything he knows. There's that other dice still going on. Kyle Robinson, I wonder if he knows that Teddy is right on his tail. The Brooke refrigerating bike right on his tail as they go down past the start-finish.
Yeah, that's the beauty about listening to these Kawasaki machines around Red Star. They've still got that popping traction control, unlike the other bikes. So all you can hear is this popping and gurgling all around the track. It's beautiful stuff. Michael Schmidt still ahead of Jonty Collard. So holding off the charge there for fourth place at the moment is Michael Schmidt. But Jonty Collard, he's going to try and want to get onto that fourth step and get some more championship points. Because remember, he's going for the top 3.
I think they've swapped that position about 17 times so far in this race. They are just swapping that position. Besaiden goes through. There it is. Smith and Jonty Collard. Oh, Papa's Pizza Oven. A little bit of movement on the back wheel of that bike there. Maybe he needs to harden up that suspension a bit. Johan Leroux. Good turning from him. Right behind him is the number 27 bike of Dale Nevenhuis. His teammates to Kyle Robinson. A little bit of gap going back to number 65, Stewie Christie. There is Ian Harwood. Harwood is charging through this field. We've not seen that before from him. Look, he's got away from Aubrey Marais. He's pulled about 3 seconds on those last 2 laps.
Oh, Dave, did you see that shot? He almost had his elbow down on the deck. Mark Marquez style there from Ian Harwood. Loving life on those Bridgestone tyres around Red Star Raceway. Jaco Goos, this is going to be some good couple of championship points in the bag. He's running second at the moment behind Graham from Idar. So he is going to catch up 3 or 4 points in the overall championship, but he needs these riders to catch up to From Idar and take him outside that top 3. But at the moment, the biggest winner is Gareth Besaiden out front. There's that battle, Teddy Brooke and Kyle Robinson. Jaco Goos, he's kept Besaiden honest out front, but Besaiden has just not set a foot wrong.
Listen to that bike on the traction control onto the back straight. There's a buzz up there. Right, there is Robinson. There is Teddy Brooke. That is the dice that's going on for 5th place at the moment. Jonty Collard looks like he's stuck in no man's land in 4th position. So Michael Schmidt is just in the mix there as well.
Besaiden into that final chicane. Then it's Jaco Goos. Then it's Graham from Idar. Those are your top 3 riders at the moment. And I think from Idar, coming into this weekend, if you had given him a 3rd place finish, I think he would have taken it. He knows this is not his favourite track. He knows he can't go well. Yeah, Jonty Collard has made a move. So Collard is up into 4th place now, ahead of Michael Schmidt. And that is going to tell hugely in the final stages of this race. Johan Leroux taking the Leroux line towards the end of the race. Now, wide sweeping line there from Johan Leroux. But he's holding station and holding down a good, solid top 10 finish there.
So good to see him back in the saddle after that very nasty accident that he had at the Swartkorps Raceway. There is our leader, Gareth Besaiden. The laps are winding down. There's no touching this man today. Jonty Collard stuck a little bit in no man's land because Michael Schmidt lost about 10 bike lengths on that lap alone, actually. Oh, and look at that. There it is. Kyle Robinson and Teddy Brooke as close as that. That'll be interesting on the last lap.
Yeah, Ian Harwood has caught up and passed Stewie Christie, the dog doctor. That's for 10th place now. So Ian Harwood is up inside that top 10. And it's a long race here at Red Star Raceway with the wind pumping. These riders are going to be suffering with some fatigue, and arm pump certainly going to come into play. But no such issues for the man out front, Gareth Besaiden. Pole position, got the whole shot, and he's going to pick up his first win ever in the Red Square ZX10 Masters Cup. He's come close on a couple of occasions, but now for the first time he's going to look at that checkered flag and take the win. And you can see how happy he is with that. Jaco Goos is second, and your championship leader Graham from Idar there in 3rd. Here comes Kyle Robinson down into the final chicane. Teddy Brooke on the inside. What a time to make a move. Kyle Robinson had that position sewn up until the final chicane. Teddy Brooke sneaks it on the last lap up into 6th place. Listen to that bike screaming to the line, but he's not going to get it. Teddy Brooke 6th, Kyle Robinson in 7th.
Official results, Gareth Besaiden taking you ahead of Jaco Goos. Graham from Idar, Jonty Collard ahead of Michael Schmidt. Teddy Brooke puts one over Kyle Robinson in the last corner. And JLR, Johan Leroux, Avidan Racing in 8th place. Great ride from Jonty Collard, Papa's Pizza Ovens. Let's catch up with him down in pit lane.
Absolutely, David. It was an amazing race weekend. We came here first of all, for Greg, in memory of Greg Besaiden. So for me to achieve that for my brother and good mate, excellent. To break the notorious 2 minutes was fantastic. So finishing 4th, very chuffed, very, very chuffed. Thank you.
One of the riders of the day so far, it has to be the Mark Marquez lean angle man on those Bridgestone tyres. It's the man from Bridgestone himself. It's Ian Harwood.
Yeah, a little bit of a start, to be honest. Excuse the language, but it was exactly what it was. And then unfortunately I had to push a little bit hard to get through the field and make some aggressive passes, which fortunately in my favour worked well. So I had a good ride, tyres were awesome, track was good, day was good. What else can we say? Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Time for some refreshments. Join us after the break for Race 2 action. Welcome back to Red Star Raceway. It's Extreme Festival and it's round number 6 action of the Red Square ZX10 Masters Cup. We already had an action-packed race number 1 and we're going to move on now to race number 2. You can see that wind is picking up. Check out those Red Square flags. Ian Hardwood, he's not bothered by the wind because he is loving life here at Red Star Raceway. Stephanie Stock's Kawasaki machine there. Les from Midar climbing in with son Graham from Midar, so making some changes there. Dale Nevenhaser, just another Bridgestone rear tyre adjustment there. SIFISO THEMBA suffering a little bit with the flu here this weekend, looking to get himself up there. Michael Schmidt looking to battle with that man that he's pitting with, John Collard. And this is Gareth Brazanote, your race 1 winner, and he's going to dedicate his race weekend to his late brother Greg Brazanote, who unfortunately passed away just a week before the race.
On the grid with Teddy Brooke for race number 2, as Rob says, round 6 of Red Square ZX10 Masters Cup. Kyle Robinson, Ian Harwood, right next to him, number 27, Dale Nevenhaser, who are in for a great race here. Rob, the wind's picked up even more, if that's even possible.
This is going to be so tough. These conditions are not easy at Red Star Raceway. Remember, there's no buildings or anything to divert that wind. It hits you straight in the face. Good launch from pole position there from Gareth Brazanote. Is it going to be another hole shot? On the inside is Graham from Midar. Yaku Coast around the outside. Michael Schmidt. Kyle Robinson with a really good start. Teddy Brooke coming along for the ride. Michael Schmidt, the biggest loser there. He's down in about 7th place.
A good pack of bikes as we go into turn number 2 at the bottom end of the circuit. They go right, then they go left, a short straight, and then into a big old S-bend. Out front, Gareth Brazanote having a great ride. As you said, Rob, dedicating his wins to his brother. It's been a hell of a weekend for him. You've got to take your hat off to him the way he's been performing today.
100%. He's got Sven Griner in his corner here at the track as well. He's got his brother in the sky and he's racing for him, and he's already done the job in race number 1, looking to do it here again in race number 2. Not only his first win of the season so far, but in the overall championship as well, to make it a double. That'll be Teddy a great Brooke. Tribute. Teddy Brooke gets it wrong coming out the left hand, and Michael Schmidt, that was almost clipping handlebars coming onto the back straight. Dave, you said something went wrong, maybe missed a gear. Michael Schmidt did not need a second invitation, and he's got himself up inside that top 7.
Teddy Brooke's got some grey paint on the side of his bike, and I wonder where that comes from. SIFISO THEMBA is in there. He didn't ride in the first race. Well, I didn't see him in the first race. I think he's got such a sore throat that he's decided to come out for the second one, which is great.
I think he's had a nice ice-cold red square, and that's given him the energy now to be running up inside that top 15 at the moment. He's 12th place, dicing with Ian Hardwood and Johan LaRue. Kyle Robinson on board here. This is a much better start from the man. Listen to that flat out in 4th gear there. Back into 3rd gear, onto the back straight. He's up inside that top 5. Like I said, much better start. This is what you need to do. If he can hold on to the coattails there of the riders ahead of him, John Collard, Graham from Midar, Yaku Coast and Gareth Brazanote, get himself closer to that podium.
Kyle has run up front before. We've seen that. Out front. A lot of movement on the front of Gareth Brazanote's bike. Somebody's run off the track. It's Kyle Robinson. Kyle Robinson, after that great start, the Fantech bike, looks like he just ran on there. He's come back over the grass and the stones, back onto the track. Quick look over the shoulder. There goes SIFISO THEMBA and Ian Harwood just ahead of him. So that's dropped him right down the field to about 14th place at the moment.
Yeah, he's lucky that the Red Star have put that runoff there for the drag bikes, because otherwise he would have found himself closer to Dalmas and Witbank going down that speed down the front straight. John Collard, though, brilliant start. He's up into 4th place. Doesn't have Michael Schmidt all over his tail in this race. Michael Schmidt didn't make the start coming through the field now, but it is Brazanote just extending that lead over Coast at the front, and here he is, the man, bike number 22, looking for his first ever double victory in the Red Square Masters Cup. And they're just behind him. Check it, that Yaku Coast holding off the challenge of his nearest championship rival and the man that's finally been unbeaten in the 2019 season. That is Graham from Midar.
Great shot of them as they go down that little back straight out of turn number 34 on this track. Johan LaRue, he's got problems because Aubrey Marais is all over him like a rash.
I can tell you now, this is the most physical and demanding track mentally and physically in the land at the moment, and these Red Square ZX10 Masters Cup riders are doing a phenomenal job on those Bridgestone R11 tyres. Certainly these 3 out front have put on a great show, and the lap times, I'm so impressed with the lap times in these windy conditions. Not easy out there. From Midar, like I said, not his favourite track on the calendar Islander, but doing a good solid job there to pick up another top 3 at the moment.
Harwood trying to get past SIFISO. THEMBA is holding him up a little bit, looking at those lap times. And just behind them, you've got Gareth Jackson, you've got Morne Potgieter, Aubrey Murray, and Carl Rohrbeck. He's in 16th place at the moment.
Yeah, Clifford Ogle just a little bit behind them, struggling to come to terms with the new Kawasaki ZX10 machine, making the transition from the Ducati. No such problems for Besaidenote out front. Look at that. He's got Svengren in his corner this weekend, and he's doing very Svengren-esque kind of style there coming into that final chicane. But Fromidar knows that he can pick up an extra couple of championship points that he lost in race number 1 over Jaco Koos, and he's trying to charge him down now. Just behind them, Michael Schmidt coming through the field, Teddy Brooke, Carl Robinson. He's making a recovery. Leg out, MotoGP. Mark Marquez style, all out of shape there, and that is the wind. Just shows you he broke, tried to adjust his line, and the wind said, no you don't, and Fromidar did very well to hang on to that bike.
I wonder if Graham's going to just say, well, that's as good as I can do at the moment. Hopefully for him, Jaco Koos is going to make a mistake. The problem for Graham van der Merwe is Jaco Koos is the king of the late breakers. If you look mid-turn, looks like Graham's got a bit more pace, but Jaco's braking so late, Graham cannot get past him.
Yeah, it's 2 different riding styles from those riders. There is Dal Nevenese, he's in a good battle. That's Stewie Christie right on his tail. So much better ride this from Stewie Christie, finding himself up inside that top 10. Just lost out. Oh, beautiful slow-mo shot there. You don't want that front wheel in the sky too much there, because the wind will just take it away. As we go on board now with Teddy Brooke coming through the field now. He's running up inside that top 6. Put a last lap move on Carl Robinson. He's closing down on Michael Schmidt after that early incident that we saw where they very, very close came together.
Teddy Brooks picked up a half a second on the last lap. Looks like he's got in the groove suddenly, and Michael Schmidt could be under problems with Teddy Brooke coming up behind him.
There's Graham Fromidar, your championship leader, still all over the back of Jaco Koos like a rash. And like you said, Jaco breaks late, closes those lines, does not allow any kind of move for Fromidar, who, like you said, could be settling now for that 3rd place and those championship points at a track that he doesn't really enjoy so much. Going to go out for the rest of the season. He's got a massive championship lead. This is consolidation stuff. Although saying that, look how much he closes on to the back end there of Jaco Koos.
Looks like he's got a bit in hand as they go through the fast stuff. It's the long corners that Graham's struggling a little bit with tyre grip. He's on the edge of the tyre a lot. Jaco Koos picks it up just a little bit sooner, but now down the straight, maybe Fromidar can get the slipstream. Harwood's coming through the field again.
Can you believe Ian Harwood? Gareth Jackson's right ahead of him. I was just about to say, you cannot mistake Ian Harwood for anyone else with those bright leathers, those beautiful Berwick leathers. But he's, again, didn't get the start that he wanted, but his second race pace is phenomenal. He's running top 6 pace at the moment.
Number 22, Gareth Besaidenote. Number 43, Jaco Koos. Number 41, Graham van der Merwe. Stefan Udi Stocks, Kawasaki in that 3rd place. He's got about 1,000-point lead in the championship at the moment, and 3rd will actually be good enough for him on the day. Oh, look at this. Carl Robinson coming up on his teammate. Oh, this is going to be interesting. How long will Dale Nevenese hold off Carl Robinson? Let's see now. We go on board with Carl up the little short straight. They'll turn right just as we go into the sunset here, and then that long left.
Now that Carl Robinson has got the half of Red Star off of his tyres, he's back in the groove now and charging down. There's that Teddy Brooke, not too far behind Michael Schmidt and John T. Collard, like you said. Doesn't look like he's able to make that gap though now. Maybe that pace is just subsiding ever so slightly, and he's going to settle for that. Yaz again on board with Robinson, trying to make that move on the inside. He's going to try and square it up, get the drive onto this long back straight, potentially put it on the inside into Peter de Vos corner.
Remember, Nevenese got great drive the last time coming out. You saw that front wheel lofting, and he's gone past him just as easy as that. Carl Robinson, better drive coming out of the corner.
Yeah, comes Fromidar. He does close in so much in the fast swoops, but like you said, in the tight stuff where he's got to be on the side of the tyre, doesn't really have that bike set up for that just yet. Koos is going to have to go defensive. Into the chicane, he's going to have to go defensive because Graham Fromidar is right on his tail. Besaidenote, what a flawless ride. What an epic ride. What a tribute to his brother this has been from Gareth Besaidenote. He's going to come to the line for the double victory. We're going to have to wait and see now who will pick up that 2nd and 3rd place. Will it be Fromidar? Will it be Koos? It's going to be Koos to a drag to the line. That is a photo finish, but it will be Jaco Koos just ahead of Graham Fromidar in the confirmation of the results. And it is Gareth Besaidenote, Jaco Koos, Graham Fromidar, John T. Collard, a double 4th on the day, Michael Schmidt, Teddy Brooke, Carl Robinson, and Dal Nevenese up inside a top 8. Brilliant ride there from our top 8. SIFISO THEMBA then suffering with the flu this weekend. Let's go down to the pits and get some feedback.
The flu just killed me, but it was a fun ride, and to push and keep up with the guys and finish the race was exciting. So much adrenaline, it's just kicked in so much, but it was a very nice ride.
An emotional Gareth Besaidenote down there. Dave Peterson managed to grab him down in pit lane.
Gareth, what a day to celebrate for you and the way you've done it.
Yeah, Dave, it's been a stressful weekend with the passing of my brother. But I knew I had the pace here. I knew we were quite strong here. So, the plan was to get pole yesterday, which we managed quite comfortably, and try to get good starts. My starts usually let me down, and today I think I had my brother looking over my shoulder, just getting those good starts for me, and I got in front. And strategy was just to try to put down as quick laps as I can in the beginning, and see if I could pull a bit of a gap, and then just manage it to the end. And it seemed to go that way in both races. So, yeah, I'm really chuffed. I just need to thank Wayne Shelley for lending us his pits for the weekend. The whole of Team Fish Curry is very, very grateful. It's made our jobs a lot easier. Thanks to all the sponsors, and I want to dedicate this to my brother.
Emotional stuff there, and well done to Gareth Bezano, Jaku Kroos and Graham Fromidar at the TRP podium. Join us for round number 7 action next time out, 17th of August at Swartkops Raceway. All the ZX10 Masters Cup action is proudly brought to you by Red Square for ultimate activation.